topic for the next session is young thought leaders who change the way we see the world. The resource person for this session is Rotarian John BRUNO. He's the District Director for Youth in Rotary in RI District 3190. I request our RYLA Shreyasi from RI District 3170 for his introduction.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Shreyasi. I'm from Dharwad, Karnataka. I am pursuing my second year in Kriya University, Andhra Pradesh, and I was a part of BACKWATERS 2018. It's my honor to introduce Rotarian John BRUNO. He's one of the very enthusiastic person I've come across. He's the very reason we're here today. He's been a planning committee member of the BACKWATERS RYLA since 2015. Rotarian John is a past retractor from District 3170 Karnataka. He joined Rotary Bangalore South Parade in 2013 and served as a president for 2016. This year he's serving Rotary District 3190 as a district director for youth in Rotary. He is selected as a group study exchange team member to Italy in 2006. He's an industrial engineer and he has an MBA in marketing. He has served many top brands like Team Lead Staffing, Future Group, Christ University Bangalore, to name a few. Today he'll be speaking on a very interesting topic related to behavioral management for interactors. Give a huge round of applause to welcome Rotarian John to the panel.
Thank you, Shreyasi. The floor is open for John BRUNO.
Anand and our faculty for last week, Deepthi madam left us all. It's all about our mind, I need to say, or about our thought process. For all the interactors here today, I tried to put across a small presentation. Maybe it is just an extension of what Deepthi madam and Anand has just spoke about. So you can think them as these as the use cases, the kind of examples if you may want to, understand them as. I will share with you, examples of four, young people in their lives, what they came across, the difficulties they came across, and how they changed the way they saw the world from their eyes. So today I'll be speaking from their eyes, and this is for all the interactors, especially here. Friends, this picture that you see here is one of the world's most feared prison. A camp, a concentration camp, where during the World War II, it was the German Nazis who eliminated a huge population of Europe. Close to 1.5 crore were eliminated through these concentration camps. But my talk is not about world politics or what the Nazis did through wars and through politics. But this is about a story that I want to tell you of one of the small girls, a 15-year-old girl, who was also part of a prisoner who was taken to what this famous train was called as a train to Auschwitz, one of the concentration camps where these people were actually left to die. By the train, this train reached Auschwitz that I showed you, the prison that I showed you. It would take days and days of time, and the prisoners inside these animal carts of the trains did not get even water and food to eat. So by the time they reached this camp, most of them were dead in the carriages, but whoever survived were taken inside the camp, and for years they were kept there. Some of them died with diseases, or those people who lived were killed in these gas chambers by the Nazis. When all this was happening in the 1940s, I will tell you the story of 10-year-old or 12-year-old Anne Frank. You have heard about her in our lessons, in our textbooks. But today, let me tell you about Anne Frank from the eyes of an interactor. So it was at the age of 15 that she also, along with her father and mother and parents, went into hiding before the Germans came to take them away to these camps or to the prisons. For 2 years, they were inside a secret room in their house. And that is when she started writing her diary. This diary was actually a gift that she got for her birthday, the 13th birthday, and she did not know what to do with that. So in the 2 years of the hiding in that room, she started writing this diary and her experience as a young girl of 13 years, what she knew about the world amongst all the difficulties. Okay, friend. So finally, they were found. The family was found in 1940, and they were taken away to that camp I showed you in Auschwitz. For 2-3 years, she survived there, and by then they left. But only her father was alive when finally the British came and released and defeated the Germans and released all the prisoners. And her father came back to the house to find this diary, or his daughter's diary, what we call today as the Annie Frank diary, that she wrote about her thoughts, what she wanted to be when she grew up. She always wanted to be a journalist. Lot of leaders have analyzed this diary even in the 90s and 2000s. And people say that her thoughts, even in the hiding and in the fear, were always positive. Always thinking about a better world. She wanted to be a journalist. She wanted to fight for the girls and maybe the girl child and for her community so that everybody had a better world. And this they call it as a never-ending human spirit that is very rare for a 13-year-old, to show even in that crisis. Okay, right until her arrest, all the words and the words she wrote was all about hope, thinking of a better world. And this today is famously known as the Diary of a Young Girl, which is published in 60 languages. You won't believe, friends, Nelson Mandela, the first South African free president, when he was in the prison for 18 years, he used to separate these pages and pass it on to all the prisoners, even the new prisoners, and to read and show them why this is such a positive book, or our diary was so nice for so many people to do that. Okay. So even in our COVID times today, friends, we are all in a different way. You are all young interactors who are between 12 to 16 years or 17 years. You may be having so many thoughts coming across to your mind, but let us be positive, stay positive, have all those dreams like Anne Frank had for all of us, and follow that example is what I will say. I will come to the second example, and before I come to him, this little boy, let me tell you a small statistic of what are the dangers of child labor across the world and in India also. Even today, till this day, a liberated country, we have found 1 crore child laborers in India. Look at their faces. Would you want to see your brother or sister, somebody who will not go to school and working in such bad conditions where you have smoke and smell of oil or chemicals on the roads, being abused by anybody just across, going around and coming back, and deprived of the beautiful world called school? Let me tell you, they were all meant to learn, not to earn at that age of 10, 11, 12. So I will tell you the story of this little Pakistani boy called Iqbal Masih. Look at his statement. He says, children should have pens in their hands and not tools. Iqbal Masih, at the age of 10 years, and of course, when he was born, his father left him. So by the time he was 10, his mother had taken a loan of 600 rupees. Because she could not pay back the loan of 600 rupees, a carpet manufacturer took him into his industry and made him a bonded laborer. For a loan of 600 rupees, a mother had to lose her child. That how much ever money she gave, the employer never released this boy. So he made his first attempt to escape from this bonded labor when he was 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old. And he went straight away to a police station. But for his misfortune or bad luck, the police brought him back to the same employer and they put him back in that labor. And he had to suffer even more cruelty, lot of physical abuse, and he was made to work 14 hours to 16 hours in a day. But after he somehow escaped when he was 13 years, he became very popular. The Pakistani government changed their laws on labor. And finally, he was a speaker also in Independence Day speeches. He toured the world in the next 2 years. And he helped around release 3,000 children. I'm telling you, at an age of 11, 12, 13, these boys are already this kid has done for his country, changing the law of a country. But friends, unfortunately, after his last speech in the United States of America, he was killed by his employer, the previous employer, when he was just 12 years old. But maybe it is just a coincidence that his mother named him Masih. Masih in Urdu is Messiah, a savior, somebody who comes to save us and the world. This is the story of Iqbal Masih. A few takeaway points for us as a thought leader, for all of us, Iqbal, is how lucky are we to get all the independence we have every day, to eat what we want, live a life that we want, go to a school or college we want. But Iqbal tells us that freedom doesn't come free. For 5.5 crore children in India, it is not free. They are not free. They don't have a freedom at all. And the second point that he tells us is courage. Even at 10 years, he kept on trying to escape, trying to find help. There was nobody to help him from his family, but did he not have the courage to go out and tell the world and get this courage and teach us that friends, every year 12th June is celebrated as Stopping the Child Labor Day. Maybe interactors here and rotaractors here, let us do our bit. It is not just maybe talking or giving speeches about child labor. It could be our day-to-day life. The next time you see a boy in a hotel, he's serving, he's washing, he's working, a girl who's working on as a maid. Let us also be responsible as interactors, rotaractors, and rotarians. My third story is about Julie. This little girl had the presence of mind to tell that whatever we see was glorified. All our celebrities that we see maybe on screen, on magazines, in print, these are all Photoshop. These are not natural. So many of our own photographs on social media is made up by apps. That is not my real me, he asked me. So this girl, Julia Bloom, came out with a campaign when she was just 14 years old. She said, she put up a petition on change.org, and that was to give girls, real girls. A nice campaign she started up, and she first targeted the famous magazine called 17 in the United States, and she got 85,000 signatures and dared these magazines and told them, show us pictures of your models on the covers without makeup, because they are the real girls. Show us the real girls. Okay. In that way, when our reasoning was, when you feature real girls who are healthy, show them that they're healthy, they eat well, they are not size 0 and all that, all the funda that we talk about today. No photoshopping. Let us be true, natural. So one magazine at a time, she targeted these. And points that we can take away from her is, every human being is unique. You don't have to look great, beautiful, or smart and handsome all the time. Heroes are not that. Heroes who don't wear capes is what they say. It is all the deeds that we do in the thoughts. Okay, so let us all promote body positivity from today and take this idea from Julia. My next example is Nichols. This boy, when he was just around 12, he saw his neighboring kids, two of them. One of them went to school on alternate days because he found out that only one of the kid had shoes. The other did not have a shoe to even go to school. And that's how he donated his first new shoes to his neighboring kids. And from then onwards, he started a huge campaign across the United States. And he started giving shoes or footwear as gift to the homeless people, especially the homeless people. And by the time he was 17 years, he has donated 1 lakh shoes. Of any branded shoe you ask, with a size, they asked him their colors. He started delivering them to their homes, directly to their homes. 1 lakh shoes by the age he was 17. What can we take away from Nichols? Is in life, relationships matter. Giving is not sympathy. We have to empathize. like they are our brothers and sisters, even if they are our neighbors. The fourth example I want to tell you, friends, another statistics that you can see here on the screen. 13 crore girls do not go to school. Reasons. There are some villages in India, even I can directly tell you these are Dalit villages in India, which never has a school, and all these kids can never, these girls can never go to a school. Okay. So our case for today, of course, is a very popular and famous by now, is Malala of Pakistan. And what she had to go through at age 11, she lived in a small village in a Swat Valley in Pakistan. And she was shot by a Taliban who entered the school bus, asked for who is Malala here in the bus, and shot her with his gun in her head. She did not know anything after that, and 10 days later, she was found in a hospital in Birmingham in England, where she survived this bullet attack. Of course, she went on to be an ambassador for education for girls, and by the time she's 17, we all know she's the world's youngest Nobel Prize winner for this cause. And this year she has graduated from Oxford, And then what are the takeaways for us from Malala is, she says every human is born equal, boy or girl. Girl should never be deprived. She always keeps telling the world about her father. Even with all those threats in Pakistan and the militants, people who were threatening them, her father always stood by Malala and said, yes, you should go to school. You should be educated. You should have a different life altogether. She directly says literacy is actually, for girls, it means a better livelihood, growing up with self-esteem, as very strong girls, maybe as a homemaker, maybe as somebody in your office, and that is the respect you get when you are educated. The last one for today is, of course, you all know by now, is Greta Thunberg from Sweden. And what she did for the world is at the age of 15, she left school and she started protests in front of the parliament, the Swedish parliament. She gave a very passionate speech also to the United Nations. She questioned every world leader, every president, every prime minister, and said, what have you done on climate change? Even India is a signatory to the United Nations Development Programme's 14 goals, and we have not reached not even 50% of these goals until today. The future of the world is green. The jobs will be green jobs, our vehicles will be green vehicles, our buildings have to be green. So that is what she keeps on telling the world, and the message she gives finally is, let us all build a future for the next generation. So the climate, or whatever we do, Rotary has adopted this year the 7th area of focus, which is environment. So as interactors, Rotractors and Rotary clubs, please identify waste management, composting, making natural the fertilizers or manure for our farms, keeping our soil safe, saving our lakes and water bodies, rivers, check dams, saving our environment is one of the messages that Greta keeps telling us. Rotary is already equipped for this. A last word on these, friends. At the age of 10, 11, 12, all of these are at this age that they gave their messages to the world. At this age is all about courage. Be brave. If you have something in mind, like Anand said, you will have to be crazy. You have to do things differently. Deepti madam also told us what are the different ups and downs when you are growing in this age of 10 to 15. But how do you manage these? What is your support system? What is the role of a counselor? When you have to grow up in the right way as a leader. At this age, they thought about courage, humanity, and taught us the lesson of importance of freedom. All that we get free of cost in our lives, day-to-day lives, and create an equal world for everybody on this earth. Not just the humans, it is about our environment and other people who own it. So that was about my small presentation, friends. If you have any questions, you can always definitely ask.